Hello my wonderful friends, it's Evelyn here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope I find you all well, and as always a huge thank you to all of you out there for continuing to support me on my little creativity journey. Well my friends, it's been a tough few weeks for me. I've been taking some time for myself, making a lot of fresh food and soups, and of course relaxing with my Luna, who has just been the most incredible pup ever. And since this week I'm sharing with you this year's Valentine's dress, it's another good reason to remind you all out there, my friends, to please look after yourselves. Now usually I draft my own Valentine's dresses. But this year I fell absolutely in love with one of the latest patterns over on Gertie's World on Patreon. Now, if you're not subscribed to this yet, I highly recommend doing so. You will not regret it, and you'll find a link in the description box. And while you're at it, remember to hit that all-important subscribe button for me too. So this week, my friends, come along with me as I make a Valentine's themed society dress. Let's get creating. Gertie's patterns are so accessible and easy to print and tape at home, with a handy map on her instructions to show you how they go together. And this is my usual pattern printing MO. But Charm also provides you with an A0 option too, and recently this is what I've been taking advantage of, using the incredible Flamingo prints here in the UK, who quickly print and deliver the patterns to your door in the cutest envelopes. Just look. And once those pattern pages arrive, it's time to choose a size, which Gertie makes near effortless with both her fit guidance and her size and finished measurement charts. And let me tell you, nobody is more inclusive on sizing. And then it's time for tracing, a lot of tracing. And I've chosen to make the floor length gown with long sleeves. The pattern calls for stretch fabric and some power mesh to stabilise the front midriff panel. And looking through my fabric stash, I decided to make use of the large amount of power mesh I had lying around, using it to create sheer sleeves and cuffs, and using a double layer of it with a nude stretch underlining for the main body of my dress. I also grabbed some interfacing for the neckline facing, and after several hours of cutting out, all my pieces were ready. To begin, I basted the bodice sheer mesh pieces to the nude underlining pieces, having decided to stitch the two skirts separately, envisioning lots of swish. Grabbing my iron, I interfaced the facing pieces before giving my iron a really good clean. Poor old neglected thing. I started by stitching up the cuffs, which I love on this pattern, and then the sleeves, also sewing the required lines of gathering stitches. I then attached those cuffs to the raw edge of the sleeves, right sides together. Then it was time to sew the centre front seam on the upper bodice piece, and you can see I've also created the lines of gathering stitches needed on the bodice pieces too. Sewing the bodice front and back together for the first time along the yoke seams, evenly distributing the front gathers between the notches given on the pattern. And this is such a beautiful bodice. It's then time to create the neckline facing, before pinning and then stitching it all around the neckline, right sides together. Finally, clip the seam allowances and understitch to help the facing fold to the wrong side neatly. Grabbing the midriff pieces, pin and stitch them to the front and back bodice pieces respectively, evenly distributing those gathers. Now sew those side seams. Time to insert the sleeves. I really take my time when doing sleeves, and sewing a line of gathering stitches along the sleeve cap, as Gertie suggests here, is a great way to ensure a lovely, nice, neat sleeve. Then it was time for the skirts, and the skirt for this society dress is massive with 6 godets. This was the first time I've ever sewn godets, and I was pleasantly surprised by how easy I found it, and I loved the volume of this skirt. Because I was using a double layer of the sheer fabric and then a lining layer, I had a lot of godets to sew and technically 2 skirts, so yes, this took a while. But when it was all done, it was time to join the bodice and skirt at the waistline, pinning them right sides together all the way around before stitching in place using a zigzag stitch, stretching the fabric while sewing. And when I started this, it was a game of thread roulette. Will I make it? Happily, yes I did. Just look at how close I was. Phew. I also grabbed a hand needle and pushed the seam allowances on the sleeves towards the bodice before invisibly stitching them in place so that they can't be seen through the sheer sleeves. And without further ado, it's time for that reveal. I absolutely love this dress, and I'm so glad that I decided to make it this week. I've wanted to make it since Gertie released it, and having someone else take the reins design wise and having her awesome instructions has been so cathartic this week. It's been just what I needed. And full disclosure, my friends, when I was getting ready to take captures of this dress, my head really wasn't in it. But I can tell you something, putting some makeup on, doing your hair and popping on a fabulous dress like this society dress really can work wonders for you. Give yourself that time, that self-love and that self-care, my friends, because it really does make a difference. Again, if you haven't subscribed to this channel or to Gertie's fabulous Patreon, do it now, my friends. Get onto it. And I'll see you next week for some more creations. But for now, I'm off to make tons of these society dresses because they just make me feel fabulous. Take care, my friends. Bye.